If I didn't care more than words can say, if I didn't care, would I feel this way?
Hey, I hope to entertain you with my little review of Bioshock. It's a first-person shooter, which is not my normal genre, for sure. But when I was doing research into the cognitive impact of video games, I realized how important it is to switch genres to keep your brain trying to function at lesser capacity than it's normal to, because, you know, it's a new skill.
Bring me toffees, teddy bears, teddy bears.
I am Andrew Ryan, and I'm here to ask you a question. Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone. I rejected those answers. Instead, I chose something different. I chose the impossible. I chose rapture. The artist would not fear the censor, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality, where the great would not be constrained by the small. And with the sweat of your brow, rapture can become your city as well.
One of the things that I really like about the game is that there are no online gimmicks, and that's pretty rare for a PC or an Xbox 360 game these days. It's a one-player game, and it's proud of it.
The White House is all lit up like hellfire. Looks like some kind of plane crash. You're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. How could it? I don't know. You best get over there. And be quick about it. The splicers are coming. You gotta be kidding. How do you know when it's coming? Because we got a lot of steer on the way down. That means we've got company.
And the game is pretty customizable in the weapons and ammo you use, but that's it. The game is excellent about offering a tutorial and narrative introduction, and then offering additional information when needed in all sorts of forms. And the goal system that you use, which is pretty linear and not customizable, except for in a couple parts. That's my biggest complaint about it. But, and then also using advertisements that you hear over the radio, and people talking to you through a little walkie-talkie, and video diaries and audio diaries that you'll find scattered about the place, developed by a company there.
With genetic modifications, beauty is no longer a goal or even a virtue. It is a moral obligation. Do we force the healthy to live with the contagious? Do we mix the criminal with the law-abiding? Then why are the plain allowed to mingle with the fair?
It was produced by Take-Two Games and developed under that by Irrational Games. They'd only made a couple games before that. An American studio, and this game deals heavily with truly American issues. Now Take-Two also owns Rockstar Games, which is infamous for the Grand Theft Auto series.
Why do we have two eyes? There's some law that says we must. 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 ears, 2 breasts. What can I do with this one, Aphrodite? She won't stay still! I want to make them beautiful, but they always turn out wrong! That one's too fat! This one's too tall! This one symmetrical. And now, what's this, goddess? An intruder. He's ugly. Ugly! Ugly! Ugly!
The controls on the Xbox 360 version that I played were pretty rough. The game, like I said, was originally on PC, so you got to use the mouse a lot. You don't in the Xbox 360 version. So, for instance, 3 different functions are mapped onto the same X button. It's real easy to go up and be like, I want to hack this machine that I just stunned with electricity so that it'll shoot my enemies. And, oh, wait, no, instead I just went to the 10-second shotgun reload. And then, you know, while I'm doing this shotgun reload, something comes up from behind me and blasts me and kills me. So that's pretty annoying.
Knock foes back with hurricane force. Laugh as they bounce off the walls.
Agency in the story is limited to those linear goals, but you do have a little agency, and there are 3 different endings depending on what you decide to do with what are called the Little Sisters. Now, these little girls were genetically altered to go around looking for corpses, extracting what's called Adam, which allows you to carry more plasmids and have more plasmids, which, like I say, are those gene evolutions. So there's lots of specialized symbolic terms and jargon. But with those little sisters, throughout the game, you know, you'll catch them after you get rid of their protectors called the Big Daddies. If you catch them, you have the choice to either exorcise them, make them normal little girls again, or kill them, and you get more Adam if you kill them than if you were to exorcise them. So, 3 different endings. If you harvest, I mean kill all the little sisters, you have 1 ending. If you kill some, save some, you get another ending. If you save them all, you apparently get 1 more ending. So you have a little bit of a moral dilemma. But the other people you kill in the game are called splicers. They've been doing plasmids a lot longer than you, and it's driven them crazy. And it's terrible that the player comes into this environment and doesn't really know what he's doing. This guy named Atlas, like an Atlas Shrugged, says, pick that up and, you know, put that in you, and it's your first plasmid. And it really knocks you on your butt, and, you know, as the character, and then only later do you find out what he's done to you. He's made you his pawn in a lot of ways. You see the effects of what's going on to everyone all around Rapture. It's terrible to think that that's your fate eventually. I haven't finished the game, so I'll be curious to see if there's any way to reverse these terrible side effects. I mean, they even start to look drippy like plastic, and your character throughout the game kind of gets a little more drippy looking himself. I wonder if there's any original music at all in this game. The music is mostly period music by groups like the Ink Spots. If you don't know how creepy this music is, I've always felt that it's creepy, but if you don't think it's creepy, you will, if you play Bioshock, think that it is creepy. So Bioshock itself was released in 2007. It is in-game mature, meaning you have to be 18 to buy it or play it. And there's a reason for that. The game uses this wonderful physics engine that you'll see in lots of other games called the Unreal Engine. And this means super realistic physics. Now, you're thinking in Bioshock that's going to come down to being, you know, not just realistic jumps, but I'm sure you're thinking of a lot of ways that realistic physics can play into a game. In Bioshock, the big deal about it is that it ends up being that if you're the kind of player like me who uses a lot of what are called plasmids, which are basically gene enhancements that allow you to have pretty much magical powers, you end up using like maybe telekinesis, picking up corpses accidentally, throwing them around, seeing positions in which you did not want to know the human body could go into. I don't even think it's the blood so much in this game that makes it mature. The gameplay is pleasantly frustrating. I played on normal difficulty. One of the major complaints with the game by more experienced first-person shooters is that If you die, you get resurrected in what's called a Vita chamber, a really neat technology that preserves your life and health. So if things get really rough, it's really easy to die, be sent back to the Vita chamber, run out, go back into the battle, and die again. It just takes a little more time. But that can be fortunate if you're a new player to the genre. The immersion in the game is pretty good, but you can sometimes be drawn out of it by the controls. Also, there's this ability to do something called hacking, and hacking any machine. Sometimes you just go through 4 or 5 machines in a row, really close together, and that little mini game can get redundant quick. So I often hit the wrong buttons, even after playing this game for 20 hours. It's so easy to have the wrong thing equipped. So about the narrative in Bioshock, this is the thing that makes it such an awesome game. First of all, the place is everything. You crash land in the ocean from an airliner, and you find your way into this city called Rapture. Now, this is so heavily and obviously based on Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. It's not even funny. The person who came up with the idea that you're making the city is called Andrew Ryan, Ayn Rand, get it? And there's a lot of other little references to her work. So, the player character himself, you don't really see much of him but his arms and this really ugly sweater. He's apparently male. You do feel connected, not so much with your player character, but with all the characters you find the diaries that they've recorded, and all the characters who talk to you through the radio. The real big character in this place is Rapture, the city itself. City at the bottom of the ocean. Developed to be very Ayn Rand-like, where she has this idea of capitalism only, no altruism. And that's the way the city started, and it developed into this monster because of that. There were no ethics to control scientists from developing really questionable things like the plasmids, those gene developments. So this questionable ethics and the free market system that he believes so heavily in, and everyone living by the sweat of their brow, ends up creating this terrible dystopia. This game definitely has a message about what would happen if you got rid of any government intervention in a marketplace. Now, obviously, there's a lot of symbolic things to be said about, even the name Rapture, because all these people are disappearing into the ocean and no one knows where they went, and it's got its own government, and, you're just getting all over the place, but going ahead and saying Big Brother, because you have your little sisters, and their protectors are the big daddies. They go around making sure that no one harms them as they gather Atom. Now, the Atom can be used to purchase these plasmids. The advertisements drawn in game are gorgeous and so period realistic. The whole thing just exudes 1948. I really enjoy playing the game, and I hope you enjoy this review. I tried to really get at the essence of Bioshock with it.